That one far safe. But it's a good and very important area because it's key, very important to in terms of. That means I presume you're in touch with NASA. But the point I'm making is that the area of environmental sustainability is key. Let me tell you why. One, the question of political solid waste. Look at all of us. We're talking about 103R, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Waste to wealth, waste to energy, a key and very important area, which are very interesting, which you can consider. You can look more into that in terms of that area. Then also the question of those of us who are in agriculture, and I want Dr. Green to listen to that, because he was talking about the question of, and also of the issues of maize. Now there is what is called GAP. GAP is Good Agricultural Practices. It's an international dimension, policy position. And I'm sure some of you have heard that our cashew had problems. Anybody in the area of cashew here? Well, I think these are some of the new areas next time around. Because the cashew business is big. What of the hibiscus flower? Our zobo? Nobody? Well, the point I'm trying to make is that Nigeria happens to be one of the biggest suppliers of cashew to Vietnam. Mexico, the hibiscus, it is just the ordinary zobo, big, huge market. But and then you, of course, remember what happened to our yams when they went to London. Why? Because we did not keep to the whole question of the issue of GAP. Those countries have minimum standard. So people who wants to go into that area and export agricultural product, remember, you must keep to that in terms of. I just thought I should throw out these ideas so that as we get ready, and also remember that we are not just alone in the world, and these are some of the challenges which will face us. So it's key and very important to keep to all those things in terms of what exactly. And this is one of the things we are telling them in a sense. Even your ordinary ugu, which is now, out. Somebody was sending me a WhatsApp message today that even train stick now. They say it's bionic, bio something, organic, and I was joking with somebody. I said, please, I will tap my contacts in the tri-state area of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut to go and look for market. Then I will head over to my farm, to my grandfather's farm in the Malaysia area, to go and get 300 loads of trade stick out to the US. But I can bet you that when it gets to the border, they will ask sometimes for certificates, and it is a trade stick that will not destroy teeth. And what am I saying that I served 4 years in Kenya? Part of Nigeria also has potential in terms of the export for cut flowers. You know the way Igbo people express love to themselves. I think it's a bit different from we Africans, because I'm sure that if I take flower to my wife for the birthday now, the person will be Oga Ambassador. And the point I'm making, it was a big business which I saw fiscal myself in terms of flowers leaving Nairobi every night from Jomo Kenyatta Airport into Amsterdam, multi-billion, and it gave a lot of hope. It gave a lot of opportunity for people. Suddenly, the EU said, if you use a particular chemical to grow those flowers, we will not let it come in here. It was a big shock. It was a big shock. So it was an international environment regulation now having a local effect on the industry in Kenya. Of course, as usual, it's a different ball game in terms of international trade laws. But the Kenyans had to wake up to it. So these are some of the things which, of course, but the point I'm making, like the area of environmental sustainability, environment, there's a lot of opportunity. When we mention about alternative energy consultancy in here, as we struggle to take your inverter and generator, those people who have gone into the area of inverter now know, of course, big business. But the question and the issue is that how can we resolve the crisis and the issues of energy crisis in Nigeria? People are now talking about grid in terms of, so it's an area too, and that's why I say that this area. Then it's briefly, the solid mineral sector too as well. I became an accidental miner in Australia. And now you now say, what was political science? What am I doing? Because I saw the potentials of the mining industry in Australia. Western Australia was earning $60 billion. $60 billion from iron ore exported from Western Australia to China and Holland. You can imagine the vast and solid mineral potentials in Nigeria. How many of us here have heard about the roadmap for the growth? It is called the roadmap for the growth and development of the mining industry. How many of us? Maybe you want to. So we have a 2016, and why? Because the mining sector is huge. It's huge. It used to be. Look at ATM. I served in Jos, and I know the ATMN, the African and the Amalgamated Mining of Nigeria. I'm from Malaysia, and then the gold reefs. When the Australians were showing me Australia, they were the ones showing me about the gold reefs in West Africa, and how it entered Nigeria through Ilesha, Itabu, Ifawara, and then continue on to Mina, Niger State, then Zamfara. I'm sure you've heard about the lead deposit in Zamfara. But the point I'm making is that the Nigerian mining sector is a huge one. It's a huge thing. Why are our respective states going to Abuja to beg for money every time? Why? Marble. So that was the reason for this. But very few people still know and heard about the Nigerian mining sector. People talk about the oil and gas. That's what, of course, the focus of it. But we need to wake up to it in that area. And there is also a value chain in terms of gems and stone and things like that. And interestingly, there's Nigerian Women Association in mining. Women who are in the area of mining. Recently, a gold refinery has just been established in the state to add value because 7 priority minerals have been identified. But when I saw what mining did for Australia, I said we must do something about it. So we worked together as ambassadors. I want to take something out. So I was able to work to get an agreement between Nigeria and Australia in the area of the mining sector, agri, financial services, as well as mining, agri, financial services, as well as agriculture. Because there's a twinning, also because they will see that most of our mining assets are on agricultural land. So how do we do it? And of course, the Australians said they're ready to help the law. And there is a 34 billion naira mineral development fund sitting in the Ministry of Mines and State Development. And I asked, what are our respective mining states? I was discussing with a few people last time. When I discovered that an Australian company was on ground in Agbaja, not Alata, Agbaja, prospecting for iron ore, and they was going to start that. And I wrote a letter to the government and others. Nobody answered me. So I now pushed. And that was for the mining conference in Australia. So eventually, the governor, one of the week, he came to me and he said, I said, Your Excellency, are you aware that in your state, the iron ore, he said, Ambassador, he said, since they voted me in, he said, how do you people opposition want to get me out? I've been in court for the past 2 years. And I said, sir, do you have a unit? Do you have a special purpose vehicle? He said, look, he said, this case, he said, we continue, that's what the company concentrate maybe 1 and 50. I said, 2 years, you're still on it, and then you're 4 years. So when are you going to start? So I will also say, go and set up a special purpose vehicle, sir, when you get back home to Kogi State. Train young people, because you have a lot of mining assets in Kogi State. Go and train young people in the university to go and study mining administration, so you can partner with these people. Because we got investors. They came in here, they came back, they said, Ambassador, I'm not sure your country is ready yet as far as mining. Because you can be a nation with mining, vast mineral deposit, but it's a different thing to become a mining nation. You have to work at it. And I sincerely hope we will do it. But it's a new area which is also perhaps you are also worth looking at as well. Some people say it's tough, but like you said in these papers. But the point I'm making as far as this is concerned is that for some of our people, some people who are interested in it, the people who are also interested in it, I think it's an area which we can. The gemstone, you'll be shocked at the number, like some of the prices. And you know the center? It is in Thailand, in Bangkok. That's why those trading are wrong. But some of our people also, and this is one of the things we also get to do in ASIMA, to expose people to these areas in terms of work. Well, the question of also, of course, the issue of export business, I noticed that the ASIMA, Christine, Sojo, are you still around? Yeah, fine. Even went to the house, we worked together as a member of the National Youth and the traders, because the export business is a key and very interesting area as well in terms of export. Currently, we lose $10 billion because of the problem and challenges, the port and things like that. It's an area you can look into. Those of you who are looking at the possibility of agricultural value chains and all that, the packed fish. I mean, you'll be shocked that you can export a lot of this even outside, but you have to know the nitty-gritty as far as that is concerned. And of course, online training and some of the things and others. Let me quickly try and see if I can round up within the next 10 minutes so that we can have time for some, maybe it's going to be 5 or 10 minutes for some discussion too as well. NASIMA itself, can we move on to, well, I think we can just, go on to the next slide, speaking of minerals. Let me quickly also go to this area as far as this is concerned. I'm trying to link this up because for obvious reasons. That the UN Sustainable Development Goals, don't mind, I will tie it up by the time I'm finished. The UNSD, you're all familiar with it. Many of us know this, the goal 1, eliminating poverty, all those areas, the question of quality education, zero hunger, the issues of decent education, sustainable cities. Out of all of these are business opportunities. Because it is the way you see some of this issue, because you don't say, oh, it's just the UN. The UN don't come with its ground again. But out of each and every of them, of course, you also have opportunities in that area. The question, of course, funding opportunities. Then go to that slide in terms of opportunities for SMEs. I won't waste too much time on it because the Bank of Industry have spoken about it. There's so many. Which please, of course, I'll leave my paper and of course a hard copy of it. You can look at electronic version of it. I'll ask you to please excuse the typos and the grammatical errors there, but you'll be able to extract some things there. But the point I'm making is that look at the SMEs engine of growth. It is true they close the overwhelming number of people employment. There's no question of the micro and small medium-sized enterprises. How many of us have seen the SMEs clinic, attended the SMEs clinic? You've attended before. The SMEs clinic are nothing but just practical demonstration and trade fair, or to exhibit products that are produced by SMEs. You'll be shocked the amount of products we produce. And I think they serve as inspiration. And what happens is that as a result of all of this, it encourages a lot of people and also let me now go to the next slide in terms of course, these are funding opportunities, the challenges. We don't want to waste time on that. Go on, continue. This is still part of it. And then these are conventional sourcing from the Central Bank of Nigeria, Bank of Industries, and all of us, CPN Fund Factor, all of them are there. And people will tell me that, the condition is so hectic, I don't think we can, but try it as well. And that's one of the things we are doing in ASIMA. We're also partnering with some small little funding agency to provide funds to some of these people. Bank of Industry, these are some of the various things which they handle. Can we go to the next slide, please? And then, of course, these are of course, the Bank of Industry. These are some of the products in terms of the Development Bank of Nigeria. It's always also been established. And then, can we go on to the next thing? I mean, the good example of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is also, I think Oyo State also, perhaps they also maybe have something along those lines.
themselves. Can we move on? Can we move on to the next one? These are non-conventional sources of funding. I don't want to bore you too much with that. They are out there. The collateral strength registry. We can go on. Well, these are some of the issues. I talked about the question of standardization, projection, feasibility studies. Go on. Can you please go on to the next slide? Leave it at that. Leave it at that. I want to try and round up at this period in time. Let me speak on a few areas that I'm trying to round up. In NASIMA, is the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. But now that we realize that commerce is no longer what it used to be, we now into the area of electronic commerce. And the electronic commerce area is unbelievable what has happened in terms of what you can do. I told you about my daughters. The last of my daughter, my baby is Olukanni. Olukanni is in the media. She does the Ebony Live TV and all that. And Bolanle, with her Instagram and followership, when we were discussing, maybe 400,000 people, said it has become a platform for her to sell her skills. And then company pay. Because once she wears a dress, and then she has a following. And honestly speaking, I was shocked. These are some of the things we could talk about in terms of the issues of electronic commerce. And industry is no longer what it used to be. We now speak of the creativity and entertainment industry. The opening night of the wedding party, Abudu's wedding party, I think it grossed about 20 million. The creativity industry is about 239 billion of the GDP. So you will now see the whole, I wanted to be an actor. When I was in Ife, I had a drama group. I had a drama group, I was into broadcast. And then in those days, we were working and acting on TV. They used to pay us 200 naira when we do production. I also did a little bit for NTA back here. 200 naira. These days, artists and others, you can imagine what is happening. And some of the production. So the point I'm making is the entertainment industry itself is a huge area in terms of what exactly is happening. And so it's a new area, and NASIMA is rolling out a plan in terms of how to work. And the beauty of it is that it provides jobs for a large number of our young people. It provides jobs for a large number of young people, and that's one of the things which, of course, we want to say. We want to also throw our arms in terms of working closely with people like you and every other person. So it's a new area which we want to work into as well. But the long and short of it is that the opportunity before us is really, our country is a huge country. The potential is so huge, and I think we must really work at it. And those are some of the things. And then, like I said, some of the areas which we talked about. For those of you who are not aware of it, NASIMA itself, Chambers of Commerce Industry, Ibadan Chambers is part and parcel of NASIMA. We also have a women's group, we have a very many trade groups too as well. The things that approaching development and economic development through trade group. Let me try and round up as I finish. And I'm going to go back to the potentials we Nigerians as we are in terms of the potentials, in terms of the hard work, in terms and our group. I serve as ambassador, like I said, in Australia and across the world. I started in Brussels, I was in Nairobi, Kenya, covered Seychelles, and then of course I was in Vienna, and that place. In the total population of Seychelles is 85,000 people. Seychelles. How many of us here know Seychelles? Yes, it's a tourist place. 85,000. Then there are Debran turtles on the island of Adabra. They are more than the people. Over 125,000 are Debran turtles. And then people from all over the world come. The only doctor, the three main islands, Ladi, Mahi, and Prale. The only doctor when I was there on the island of Prale, 2,500 people population. The only doctor is Dr. Edu, a Nigerian. And then the man who, the director of the agri sector was a Nigerian. The only medical physicians was a Nigerian.
the legal officer in the city in their general was Nigerian.